Hi folks, this video is on 33rd chapter of Right to Recall Party Manifesto. Right to Recall Party Manifesto you can download from rahulmehta.com/301.pdf. I'll repeat, rahulmehta.com/301.pdf, and it is available in Hindi as well as English. The chapter 33 is on expelling Bangladeshi. That what are the gazette notification drafts we should print so that we can expel Bangladeshis without doing damage to Indian Muslims or Indian Hindus or any West Bengal Hindus or Muslims living in West Bengal. At the chapter 32 that I earlier discussed allows is about gazette notification drafts, which will enable refugees from Bangladeshi, Hindu, Sikh, Jain, Buddhist, everyone, to enter into India and obtain work permit. This chapter is about expelling Bangladeshi infiltrators. So the biggest problem is that first, how do you get a list of Bangladeshi infiltrator, potential list, suspect list, without harassing people? For example, let's say there are 25,000 illegal Bangladeshis in Bangladeshi infiltrators in Ahmedabad. This is a statement made by one of the PI in Ahmedabad. So it is not a good idea to raid houses here and there in a population of 50 lakh to find out the list of 25,000 Bangladeshi, or even in Assam, where we suspect that there are 30 to 40 lakh illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators. In West Bengal, there are another 40-50 lakh illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators, etc. So now, first problem is how to get list. Second problem is how to prove that the person is Bangladeshi infiltrator and not West Bengal resident. So what is infiltrator? Anyone who was in India in 1948 is a citizen of India. After 1948, the Hindus and Sikh and Buddhists and Jains who came from West Bengal and Pakistan, they are refugees. They are not infiltrators. And anyone who came after 1948, anyone else who came after 1948, mainly Muslims, they are infiltrators who came from Pakistan and Bangladesh. And those who were already living in India, they are not infiltrators, and the law should not disturb them, law should not bother them at all. And the children of infiltrator are also infiltrator. There is no law that if a person stays in India for 5 years, he is automatically become citizen. There is no such law. There is no law that children born from illegal immigrants in India is Indian citizen. There is no such. He is still any person who is Bangladeshi. If he illegally comes into India, if he has children born in India, second generation, third generation, 10th generation, they all remain Bangladeshi citizen, and international law enables us to kick them out, send them back to Bangladesh. If Bangladesh does not accept, that will be another issue that we have to solve, but they have no place in India. Now, how do we prove that a person is Bangladeshi infiltrator? That is one question. And then confirmatory test, that we must confirm that this person is indeed a Bangladeshi infiltrator. And yes, if the proposed method, out of 2 crore illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators, if we manage to miss out 5 lakh to 10 lakh, maybe it is tolerable, but we should not be missing out 1 crore. At the same time, the procedure should not harass even 50,000 of the actual Indian Bengalis. So the procedure I propose, the gazette notification draft I propose, first is appointment of an officer, and of course there should be right to recall over that officer. That officer I title as NADO, National Alien Data Officer, who will do all the data work about different individuals who are accused of being Bangladeshi or not accused of being Bangladeshi. Then right to recall police commissioner. Police commissioner already has power to expel Bangladeshi, but right now he does not have tools by which he can do it, legal means by which he can do it. At the same time, most of the police commissioners in Assam, West Bengal, Mumbai, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, they just collect bribe from Bangladeshi infiltrator and let them live as long as they want and let them come as much as they want. So right to recall our police commissioner is must, so that police commissioner starts taking necessary action to expel Bangladeshi. After, let us say we have right to recall police commissioner, but then what can police commissioner do to find out Bangladeshi? So for that, I have proposed a method that the police commissioner can obtain list of all the mobile phone bills, etc., put them in his computer. He already has power to get everybody's bills, put them in computer and find out people who are calling Bangladesh again and again. Those who are getting, let us say, more than 1 hour of incoming call from Bangladesh, and those who are making outgoing calls of 2 hours to Bangladesh. It does not prove that they are Bangladeshis, but we have a good list to start with. So once we have a list of people to start with, we collect, therefore the police commissioner can collect their photographs and names and whatever other details, put the photographs on the website and appoint agents in Bangladesh that you give us their blood relatives in Bangladesh. And we will give, let us say, 10,000 rupees or 20,000 rupees to the blood relatives in Bangladesh, as well as 10,000, 5,000 rupees, whatever, to the agent who does that. So now let us say I am an illegal Bangladeshi infiltrator and there it is doubtful. There is no proof that I am illegal Bangladeshi infiltrator. But there is a person who is found in Bangladesh and the blood DNA shows that I am his brother. Now that person is Bangladeshi, he is in Bangladesh right now, so it automatically proves that I am Bangladeshi. So in the first list, the commissioner can obtain the phone bill. Through the phone bill, let us say I am getting too many calls from and to Bangladesh. So my photograph and details go on website. Somebody, I'll be having at least 2-3 brothers in Bangladesh, maybe 5-6 uncles in Bangladesh, cousins, sisters, parents, of course, and some of them could be jealous of me or have animosity against me. So they will give their blood samples and witness testimony, and through that it will get proven that I am a blood relative of those Bangladeshi and thus I am a Bangladeshi. The next step is obtaining data from Bangladesh. They have voter list, they have school living certificates, copies, etc. Whatever data that you can obtain in bulk, illegally or legally, obtain that from Bangladesh and put it, give it to the police commissioners across India. The next step is jury trial. Once a person has a Bangladeshi blood relative, he should be subjected to a jury trial where the jury will decide. Jury trial I have described in chapter 21. Why jury trial? Because as we all know, judges in India, most of them are very corrupt. You can give bribe of 10-15 crore and they will not hang for kasab for 2.5, 3 years. There was another case where Supreme Court judge he took a bribe of about 15 crore and he acquitted a person who had raped 3 8-year-old girls, and there was videotape evidence. There was a lower court conviction. There was all forensic evidence like blood test, because there was a lot of blood on the bed sheet and all that. Police had made a very watertight case, because of which the lower court gave punishment of 7 years, and the Supreme Court judge gave bail to those that Swiss billionaire. He was a very wealthy person from Switzerland, and the person got bail and he escaped. So Supreme Court judges are corrupt, lower court judges, lesser said better. About 80-90% of them are corrupt from top to head. So to determine Bangladeshi, if we use judges, then judges will just take bribe from Saudi Arabia and call everybody as Indian, and they will take the trial will go on for 7, 8, 9, 10 years in lower court. Then there will be an appeal in high court, and then no Bangladeshi will get expelled in 100 years. And more will keep coming. So we should be using jury trial, where the jury of 12 will be called, and if more than 9 jurors say that person is Bangladeshi, then he is Bangladeshi. Then trial will go in next stage, and If 7% say that he is Bangladeshi, but 5 do not, then the person can stay in India but in any territory except Northeast and West Bengal. In other words, if more than 9, that is 10, 11 or 12 of them say that this person is Bangladeshi, he will be deemed as Bangladeshi and expelled. Next is narco test in public. The jury can ask the person to take narco test in public, and if the person denies for narco test, that itself is a powerful doubt. If he agrees for narco test, then fine, narco test may fail in 1 out of 100 cases or even 10 out of 100 cases, but if you take narco test of 100 potential Bangladeshi suspect, and out of which let us say 90 are Bangladeshi, then out of 90, 80 will tell their whereabouts. They grew up in Bangladesh, where they grew up, who was their parent, who was their brother, sister, etc., where did they go to school or where did they work before they came to India. And those who are not Bangladeshis, we will find there enough relatives in India, blood relatives or other facts and figures, to prove that they are not Bangladeshi, and narco test will also give them full benefit of doubt. The biggest advantage of Bangladeshi's narco test is that, let us say I am a Bangladeshi suspect and my narco test is to be taken, so it will be put on the website that my narco test is going to be taken, and all the numbers that are found in my mobile list, SMS will be sent to all of them that such and such person's narco test is going to be taken in public. So all my friends and close relatives, say I am caught in Ahmedabad, somebody could be living in Jaipur, somebody could be living in Bangalore, somebody could be living in Bombay, West Bengal, Assam, wherever. They will all now feel a threat that this person is going to give out all the names of all his relatives and friends and neighbors, etc. So let us escape back to Bangladesh. And once the person is confirmed that he is Bangladeshi, the punishment will be 5 years in prison to execution. So you execute about, say, as per existing law, they can be thrown into prison for 5 years. Punishment for illegal immigration, illegally sneaking into the country, is 5 years. The Bangladeshis who participated in the Bodo riot, in that Bodo area, they can be prosecuted under section 121 or 125 of IPC. It is called waging war against state. I request you to Google on IPC, waging war against state. It is IPC section 121 or 125 or so. Waging war against state means if the foreign illegal person are sneaking into India or rushing into India and trying to capture land and violently injuring Indian citizen, then that comes as waging war against India. It is different from rioting. Rioting, when two citizens of India are fighting for whatever, then it is not waging war against India, it is rioteering, and other crimes applicable crimes may apply. But if the person is a foreign national who has illegally entered India and he is trying to capture land, or he has already captured land, then he can be prosecuted for waging war against state, and the punishment is, maximum punishment is death penalty. In addition, we can make a law that if an illegal immigrant is caught from Pakistan or Bangladesh, then he will be executed. So once we execute about 100 to 200 to 500 Bangladeshis, all remaining 1 crore Bangladeshis will go back. They are not going to stay. See, the procedure is foolproof enough that anyone who stays will get caught. How? That based on phone bill, we have lakhs of people to start with. There are 2 crore illegal Bangladeshis. Not all 2 crore will be having mobile phone, but at least 20 lakh will be having mobile phone now. So we have a good list of 20 lakh to start with based on their phone call record. One, we will find their blood relatives. From their blood relatives, narco test will be taken, and from narco test we will get a list of all 2 crore illegal Bangla, and if not all 2 crore, 1,90,000, 1 crore 90 lakh. And once 100, 200 of them are executed, and let us say about 10,000 of them are thrown into prison for 5 years, the remaining 1 crore, 2 crore will go back. Nobody is going to wait till his number comes up. So the key thing here, key ingredient, is right to recall police commissioner and jury trial. They are administrative proposal, and the technical proposals are using phone call record to track Bangladeshis, using DNA test to prove the relatives who are resident in Bangladesh, giving them 10,000 rupees, 1 lakh rupee reward. We won't have to give reward in 1 crore cases. You give reward to about 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people, execute about 1,000 of Bangladeshis, the remaining will flee. So the cost of entire DNA test and giving reward, I would say not more than 2,000 cases. So even if you have to give reward of, let us say, 1 lakh rupees, it is 2,000 into 1 lakh, that is not more than 20 crore. And narco test in public of those whose DNA match has been found. Using these proposals, we can expel the Bangladeshis. Now, how bad is the problem that I have described in other videos, that the problem is terrible, because 1 crore to 2 crore Bangladeshis are here, maybe more. And most Bangladeshis who came before 1980 are illegal refugees. They are refugees. And those who came, mostly who came after 1991, they are infiltrators. And the infiltrators are in large number in West Bengal and Assam area. So if China gives them weapons during the war, then overnight then can be 10,000, 20,000 kasab. And 15, 20, maybe 30 kasabs were there in, I don't remember. And they killed about 300, 500 people. So you can imagine how much damage 10,000 kasab can do. Plus, the kasab who came in Mumbai, they did not have rocket launcher and grenade. The China can supply grenade and rocket launchers to Bangladeshis in India, and the damage can be several times, several times more than the damage that kasab caused. Plus, the Chicken Neck area, that is the area which connects Assam northeast with the West Bengal, Sikkim area, that is only 12-13 mile, 20 kilometers at most, wide strip. And already that area around that is now Bangladeshi majority. So if that area gets captured by Bangladeshis, then it will become very difficult for Indian army to go to Assam, and the all Assamese may get massacred en masse. The way they got massacred in 1947, the way Indians got massacred in Pakistan in 1947 and in Bangladesh in 1947. And that entire area may become part of Bangladesh. You can Google on Brihad Bangladesh. What is Brihad Bangladesh? Brihad Bangladesh was a proposal that was put by Jinnah and Surawardi and many other people in year 1940 or so, that entire northeast should be made part of Bangladesh. And Britishers wanted to do that, but they could not. And after that, the Saudi, in around 1980, after 1985, Saudi Arabia started giving a lot of bribe to Indian political leaders to let as many Bangladeshis as come. See, Bangladeshis who came before 1981 or even before 1991 were mostly Hindus. That's where the whole problem came up. Why Devi Indira Amma did not take any step to expel Bangladeshi from Assam, which was a bad thing. The Bangladeshi Hindus who are coming from Bangladesh, they should be evenly distributed across India. All of them should not be dumped in Assam and West Bengal, but they should be allowed to come. So Devi Indira Amma took right step that she allowed them to come, because they were basically refugees. They were badly beaten in Bangladesh. But she took a very wrong decision of letting all of them go into Assam and Northeast. They should have been given work permit and evenly distributed across all districts of India. But Devi Indira Amma did not allow infiltrators to come en masse, because most of the people who came before 1985 were, before 1985, were Hindu Bangladeshis. The story became completely different around 1991 when Manmohan Singh became finance minister and Narasimha Rao became prime minister. Narasimha Rao had become prime minister by taking support from American lobbies and Saudi Arabian lobbies, because Narasimha Rao was not capable of even winning a municipal corporation election. His political base was zero. The guy had crores of rupees of wealth in Andhra Pradesh. His relatives had acquired lots of miles and miles of land in Andhra Pradesh, but politically he was finished. And Rajiv Gandhi had expelled him because he gave wrong advice of all this liberalization, privatized, globalization. Rajiv Gandhi had finished his political career because he had started hating Narasimha Rao for his wrong advices. But when Rajiv Gandhi died and multinational companies and Saudi Arabia etc. saw that we want a puppet Prime Minister of India and puppet Finance Minister of India, so as a puppet they chose Manmohan Singh, and for position of the puppet Prime Minister they chose Narasimha Rao. And the deal was that he will allow as many Bangladeshi infiltrators to come and settle into Assam. And after that, all Congress leaders took bribe, whether it is Ahmed Patel or Sonia Gandhi or whosoever, Pranab Mukherjee, they all took bribe from Saudi Arabia, and in return they would allow Bangladeshis to come en masse. The CPM leaders of West Bengal also sold out. They also took bribe from Saudi Arabia and started letting as many Bangladeshis as come. Mamata Banerjee also sold out. Mamata Banerjee, if for enough money, Mamata Banerjee will hand over entire West Bengal to Bangladesh. She wants so much money to become Prime Minister of India, because in order to become Prime Minister of India, only option she has is that she has to bribe out as many local leaders as possible, as many MPs as possible. So she requires huge amount of money, and for that no Indian industrialist in West Bengal can give her so much money. So she takes money from Saudi Arabia, and in return she lets Bangladeshis come by busload. She is worse than communist government. Before, communist government did take bribe and let Bangladeshis come, but she has just multiplied the whole business by 3 times or maybe more. So we need to expel these Bangladeshis in order to protect Northeast and also entire India, because Bangladeshis are all over India, and China during wartime can send them weapons to as many as possible, and they can start killing and arsoning, rioting all over India, at least in entire West Bengal and border areas of northern Bihar and such places. What is the stand of other parties on this important issue? Well, there is a new kid on the block that you know, Anna Arvind Party. They openly support Bangladeshis. Openly support Bangladeshis. In the month of August, when Arvind Gandhi was fasting at Jantar Mantar or wherever, the activists, and during the same time Bodo riot started, Bodo and Bangladeshi riot started. So many, I called many ISC activists that this is an important problem, you should focus on it. And yes, they said, okay, there's this anti-corruption movement, so what? You want anti-corrupt person, non-corrupt person like Duratma Gandhi or Jawaharlal Ghazi, they both were 100% non-corrupt. So what? They ruined the country. Just being non-corrupt is not good enough. Duratma Gandhi was non-corrupt, Jawaharlal Ghazi was non-corrupt. So this is an important issue, as important as corruption. So they agreed, they all went to Arvind Gandhi. Arvind Gandhi openly refused that he will not make any statement on this burning problem. The Bodos were getting killed left, right and center. 50,000 Bodo families were forced to evacuate. Some 2 lakh Bodo, maybe more, were forced to evacuate that land. That land was taken over by Bangladeshis, and Arvind Gandhi said that he will not make any. So activists said that no, some statement has to be made. So finally I saw one statement on YouTube. I don't have the exact link with me right now, where he said, of course he made token statement in favor of Bodo कि बोदो को उनका घर मिलना चाहिए, सरकार को उनकी हिफाजत करनी चाहिए. But last statement he made was कि बेचारे बांग्लादेशियों को भी अन्याय नहीं होना चाहिए. But what does this word बेचारे बांग्लादेशी mean? भाई बेचारे बांग्लादेशी क्या, बांग्लादेशियों को चुन चुन के निकाल देना चाहिए? I mean Bangladeshi refugee should be allowed to stay in India, but they should be distributed all across India, not in one specific region. और जो बांग्लादेशी इन्फिल्ट्रेटर है वही बेचारे बांग्लादेशी इन्फिल्ट्रेटर शुड बी एग्जीक्यूटेड और थ्रोन इनटू प्रिजन एंड किक्ड आउट. सो ही सपोर्ट्स giving work permit and citizenship to all these Bangladeshi infiltrators. You can ask them if you disagree with me. Both Anna and Arvind Gandhi say that Bangladeshi infiltrators should be given land and should be given ration card and should be given everything in India. The Congress is sold out, as you know. They openly allow Bangladeshis. CPM is sold out. Mamata Banerjee is sold out. BJP pays only lip service to the problem. I gave this advertisement in newspaper on January 12th, 2012. I gave this advertisement in Indian Gujarati newspaper in Ahmedabad, Gujarat Samachar. Front page advertisement describing the problem as well as solution. Ahmedabad, as you know, is full of RSS activists, which is not a bad thing, VHP. So a lot of BJP, RSS, VHP activists contacted me, and I said that you ask your leader to put these suggestions as in their manifesto. And finally they told me that BJP leaders flatly refused to make any statement against Bangladeshi infiltrator except lip service. They make statement against Bangladeshi infiltrator problem, but they refuse to put any Gazette notification draft, and the proof I give is their 6-year rule in center. They were in center for about 6 years. They refused to print any draft in Gazette notification which will enable local police to expel Bangladeshis and track them out. Why? Because they started getting money from Bangladesh, Saudi Arabia. Pramod Mahajan, as you know, is as corrupt as any leader you can think of in Congress or Communist Party or anywhere. He started getting money from Saudi Arabia. He became in charge of Assam. Now look at this Advani and Vajpayee fellow. They made Pramod Mahajan in charge of Assam region, BJP Assam. Now Assam is a sensitive area. If you want to handle that sensitive area properly, why would you give it to a person who is notorious for corruption and so-called 7-star lifestyle? 7-star lifestyle is that he never used to go to his home. He always used to go to 7-star hotel. That's where he used to have a dinner, and that's where he used to book a room and sleep. And in the morning from that 7-star hotel he would go to his office, and God knows whom else he would stay with. I'll request you to Google 7-star lifestyle and Pramod Mahajan, and you will see lot of statement made by BJP leader. I am not the only person who is saying so. That person lived a very lavish life, and the word lavish includes everything, liquor and everything. And such person was notoriously corrupt, who used to get hundreds of crores of bribes from Saudi Arabia. That person was made in charge of Assam. So obviously what else do you expect except that lakhs of Bangladeshis will keep coming. So during 6-year period, Advani refused to implement national ID system. He refused to implement any law that can be used to stop Bangladeshis or expel Bangladeshis. All ministers sold out. Arun Shourie started opposing national ID system. Arun Jaitley started opposing national ID system. Vajpayee and Advani, they refused to implement national ID system. All the so-called corrupt or non-corrupt or very knowledgeable, very Gyan Purush as I call them. These are both Arun. They are Gyan Purush. Very knowledgeable people. But they did not propose any draft to expel Bangladesh. Even today, you can call both of these Arun, most knowledgeable people in BJP, and ask them that, can you give me printout of the Gazette notification draft that we should print to expel Bangladeshis? And they will tell you stories of how bad Bangladeshi problem are, how dangerous it can become in future. They are like doctors who will keep on talking about diseases and never give you medicine. And finally you ask them that, give me Gazette notification drafts which I can print in the Gazette so that the problem can be reduced. They will not give you. So far they have not published any proposed Gazette notification draft. So BJP in reality is sold out. And VHP and RSS, their leaders are sold out. Their leaders are asking their activists to talk about the problem. They want to talk about the problem so that they can get Hindu vote, become MP, MLA, minister and collect bribe. That is all. But they are not interested in even publicizing the solution. So as far as today's India go, we at Right to Recall group happen to be the only activists who are publicizing the Gazette notification draft by which Bangladeshis can be kicked out. It may be a good thing for us, but it is really sad thing for India that all other activists, sadly, they are following this Anna and other RSS and VHP, and they are just wasting away time. BJP, less VSP. And they are just wasting away time either in calling Bechare Bangladeshi or Dharna, Narebaji, rallies, etc. And they are not giving any solution to the problem. So I'll sum up. It is possible to prove whether a person is Bangladeshi or not. How? By DNA test, comparing his DNA with his relatives in Bangladesh. There are 2 crore Bangladeshis in India, illegal Bangladeshi infiltrators. We don't need to collect and compare sample of all of them. We collect and compare sample of about 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, take narco test of them. Once they are proven that they are Bangladeshi by the jury, we execute them. The remaining 1 crore will flee back. And finally, what if Bangladesh refuses to take them? Then we can create a very small amount of 1-2 kilometer, 5 kilometer wide no man's land. Throw all the Bangladeshis there, make refugee camps there, and tell that anyone who comes back will be shot. This is an acceptable international procedure. That if a person is accused as illegal alien from other country, he can be put at the border. If the other country refuses to take him back, then he has to stay in that refugee camp, which won't be a 5-star hotel, it will be a refugee camp. If he tries to come back, he can be shot. Similarly, accepted international procedure is also that you put them on a boat, put that boat outside India's 12-mile limit, and ask them to take the boat to Bangladesh, and if they try to come back into Indian waters, that boat can be shot or bombed. It is internationally acceptable norm that you can shoot an illegal alien who is trying to come into country. So you don't have to shoot them, they will not come back. It is not, I'm not talking about shooting crore of people. It is not going to happen. No such drastic action is required. We execute 1,000 of them and the crore will go back. The main reason why the problem is coming is because of Saudi Arabian bribe, which is coming to top leaders in Delhi. See, yes, BSF is corrupt, fine, border security force, the local police is corrupt, but the major reason why the Gazette notification draft is not coming to expel Bangladeshi is because the leaders in all political party, including this Anna Arvind party, they are corrupt. They are getting bribes from Saudi Arabia in cash or in kind. For example, I don't think Anna took cash, but Anna wanted coverage from certain TV channel, maybe MDTV or KDTV or whatever you call it, and that channel is heavily funded by Saudi Arabia. So the deal is that this is my channel, it has got so much viewership, this is the money we are putting it, you don't talk about Bangladeshi problem, my channel will give you favorable coverage. Anna was basically a publicity hungry freak. And Arvind Gandhi also wants publicity. From publicity you will get power plus money, whatever. So some people are selling out for media coverage, some people are selling out for outright cash, like Pramod Mahajan sold out for outright cash. Congress leader, CPM leader, Mamata Banerjee take outright cash from Saudi Arabia and let Bangladeshis coming. But the problem is in Delhi, the problem is in capital of West Bengal, namely Calcutta. Problem is not at border area. BJP and Congress are wasting time by fencing solution. Fencing is a useless idea. You cannot fence that border. It is not required. You kill a Bangladeshi who comes here, the Bangladeshis will stop coming. You leave the entire border open, but kill the person. How many Indians go into Bangladesh? If there is no fencing, it should go both ways. There should be crores of illegal Indians into Bangladesh. Why is there none? Because anyone who goes there is immediately killed or hanged or he is lashed 100 times. I think punishment in Bangladesh is 100 lashes and then they throw away in prison for about 2-3 years. So, punishment is lashing. I don't recommend it. Also, internationally lashing is acceptable punishment, but we don't go to that barbaric punishment. And fencing, I support fencing, but that is a cure for terrorism. It has nothing to do with infiltration, because the infiltrator can come even from a small gap which can exist because of river, or they can even come by a coastline. Large number of Bangladeshis, they don't cross the border. They come at the coastline of West Bengal and from there they go to Assam. So now are you going to fence entire coastline of India? It is simply not possible. So fencing is a time-wasting proposal that was invented by BJP and it is still being continued, but it is a nonsense proposal. What we need is ID system. ID system will of course reduce infiltration, and then the methods which I discussed, and the key administrative proposals are right to recall police commissioner and jury system. All this is given in detail in chapter 33. Thank you.